I'm Beverly, and I'm on the witness stand.
It's Beverly, and we're coming from the witness stand. And today we're going to talk about how one school counselor just pulled off a legal sidestep so slick it should have had its own gavel. So grab your sweet tea because this one is going to be layered. Welcome to the witness stand. Testimony continued through day 6 and 7, and there were several witnesses which were, let's just say, well, not that earth shaking, chattering. I mean, they were important because every witness should be important, right? Except for maybe the ex wrestler who got up and talked about how that hold that old Isan had on Fatima was a real chokehold. It was a real hold and not a fake. They should have called me. I could have gone and done that, but I digress. We also had another medical expert, which was a pediatrician that treated Fatima and said that her injuries were, again, very life-threatening and very serious, that she had air trapped in this region. And so, we reiterated that. There ought to be, I know that you want several medical people to come in and talk about what was found, but it's like every trial case that we're seeing these days has to have. You remember Karen Reed? Oh, almighty. Anyway, those are just not my most favorite parts of it, unless it's like it's got to be real, not so scientific. I don't want to have to get up and explain DNA to somebody. That's ridiculous. I don't even know why I'm talking about that. I guess I'm on vacation brain or something. So one of the other people that testified was Officer Alicia Howard. She is the school resource officer there at Timberline High School, and she works for Lacey PD. Y'all, mosquitoes are bad in North Carolina, but down at the coast, they're as big as your dog. I've been fighting this one for a while. I'm going to get back to what I was doing. And if you see me swatting, you know what it is. You can say she's just in the South. Okay, so she had testified that she did give no trespass order to Zara, which was Fatima's mother, in relation to an incident that had happened with Isaiah, trying to get to Isaiah for trying to get Isaiah and then to eventually get to Fatima. So anyway, they had a no trespassing order. They said she couldn't come back onto the property, the parking lot, any of the buildings, outlying fields, anything. So Officer Howard said that she felt she understood very well how this was to affect her, that she could not come on any of those said properties or buildings or structures or parking lots. And the defense played that up and said that she probably didn't understand when she trespassed the October day because of her not having English as her first language. But Officer Howard said that although she felt she understood the language, they did provide her with it, the reading in her own language. But I have a feeling that based on what I saw of Officer Howard and based on, similar situations, that this is a tactic that especially was used by Zara or people who wanted to get out of something. And I mean, this mom Y'all, at first I said maybe she wasn't guilty of second-degree attempt, but I'll tell you what she is. She is very much guilty of, and that is first-degree mean. She is. Have you seen her? This woman doesn't show anything but stone-faced cold. Father doesn't show much better, but at least he's got some smirks every once in a while, you know? But anyway, she is, God, I'm glad you're not my mama. Officer Howard, Alicia Howard of the Lacey PD and the school's resource officer gave testimony that she had served Zara Ali with a no trespass letter on September 17th following a confrontation the day before where Zara came onto school campus and approached Isaiah, I guess, trying to get the whereabouts of her daughter. I don't know, but it caused a problem, and so that they issued a trespass order on her. And then 2 weeks later, which is the day of the incident, remember? Well, you may not remember, but in October, the day of the incident where she was allegedly choked, Zara came back on campus knowing full well she wasn't supposed to be there and went after Fatima. And also, as I'd spoken about earlier, after the choking incident, then they got Fatima away from her father. Fatima and Isaiah started running inside. Zara started following them. And at some point, or maybe it was before they started running, but at some point in this, Zara had her arms around the neck of Fatima. So this is in reference to that, but that she showed up at school that day before knowing any of this choking situation was going to occur. She showed up knowing full well she wasn't supposed to. So based on that and the attack, then Isaiah's parents got a temporary restraining order against her, making her stay away from Isaiah and his home because she'd been going to his home looking for Fatima. And even though they kept saying that she wasn't there, Zara was having no thoughts about that. She wasn't listening at all. So there were trespass orders, there were restraining orders, there were all kinds of things, and she violated everything. Who else? We had a vice principal come in and testified, but all she really testified to was pretty much confirming or validating that some of the video from the school's security cameras were in fact video from the school security cameras, and she verified that that was Zara and Fatima's older sister, Hussein. I think that's how you say it. So that was pretty much it on that. But then you have school counselor Elizabeth Robinson. She's a mental health counselor at Timberline High School, and she explained the confidentiality rules around runaway youth. And she said that she was not legally obliged to inform Fatima's parents, nor was she legally obliged to alert police officers or child protective services about the case. I don't know. We can have all kinds of opinions about it, but we really can't say one way or the other. Okay, my opinion is that maybe something should be done, but I can't fault this lady because she was following laws in Washington state. What's in my state is different from what's in your state. I know that in my state, the state of North Carolina, if you had any idea that harm should be coming towards somebody, you had to report, especially when it was a student, a child. But that wasn't the case there. If there was no legal reason not to. I think maybe they should look at, as a district, a school district at least, the protocol or policy regarding that. Maybe they should make it at least part of the record that it's been noted. I don't know. It's, again, hindsight, 50-50. Okay, hindsight's not 50-50. Hindsight's 20-20. And I don't know. I think maybe that we need to look at that, or they need to look at that, not us. All right. So here's where I want to get into the crux of this, the meat of this, should I say. The judge made it clear from day one, no talk about honor killings, no talk about forced marriages unless you can back it up with something besides guesses and gossip. So with that, my friends, the prosecution had to step in a minefield, making sure that nobody stepped on one of those mines, or it would blow up. The whole case, the trial, everything would blow up in their faces. So it was a little field of mines to be maneuvered. Okay. So I kept thinking, how's this going to happen? Somebody's going to say something. Somebody's going to slip and say something, right? Okay. Enter in Elizabeth Robinson, school counselor. The prosecution, they didn't charge in with fireworks. They tiptoed in, smooth as butter on a hot skillet. They asked, "What did Fatima tell you that day?" And Robinson said, "She said she was afraid her parents were going to send her to Iraq to marry someone she didn't know." Boom! There it was. There it was. No objections, no sidebar. It was in. How did they do that? How did they do that? Well, she didn't say the parents were planning an arranged marriage. She didn't say this was going to happen, this was going to happen, this. She said, Fatima told me that she was afraid. That's all she had to say. And that, my darlings, is a state of mind exception and courtroom gold. Now, defense, they had to pull this back. And I feel bad for them because it's really been an uphill road anyway. You could be the best attorneys in the world, and I don't think you could have even tried any harder to win this. I don't even know I can say that. I don't think you could have been the best attorney in the world and gotten these two characters off. I don't think, and I think now, because we're seeing so much with Zara, I think now we can maybe say, because of her not being compliant with the law and not being compliant with officers, the school policies, Isaiah's parents, not being compliant with all that, and just flying in the face of it. Maybe, maybe the jury's going to see her as being more than a standby witness. Standby witness. Anyway, I think that this is gearing up for the showdown. This is. I just don't see how the defense can pull this off. I don't. I really don't. I don't know how this could get worse for them unless they get him found guilty of murder when he wasn't even charged with it. Kind of feel sorry for him, but not too much. But here's what the defense did do. They said, well, she didn't say that her parents told her that, did she? Could she have misunderstood? Well, bless her heart, but that dog did not hunt. Because let's be real, Fatima had run away, was hiding out. They were working on safety plans with her. They had found her a shelter. She came screaming into the school saying, my daddy's trying to kill me. She wasn't misunderstanding a bedtime story. She knew what was happening. And now everybody believed her. I think everybody on that jury is going to believe her too. It planted a seed, not just of fear, but of motive. You had to know that the jury was thinking, what is going on here? What is it I'm not being told? This is quite harsh. Why would this man try to choke this girl when she was running away? What was she running away from? All of these things had to be percolating in those jurors' minds. But now they know. They know because they've got a scared teen. They've got a counselor that she could trust that told what was truthfully happening at the time, got it in there. And the moment, a courtroom moment where that motive just slipped in wearing legal camouflage. All while the defense sat there like they just realized their umbrella had holes in it. So what's my take right now? The prosecution put on 27 witnesses in 7 days. The defense did not call either Isan or Zara to the witness stand, which, I mean, really, did any of us really think it was going to happen? Nor did they call anybody else. So they put on no witnesses. They made that motion that they always make. I don't remember the legal term for it, where at the end of the prosecution, they always say, dismiss, Your Honor, we request that you dismiss these charges because the state has failed to prove their case, which they did. They asked that. The judge said, no, it's moving on. And so all of that has led us to this. Prosecution and defense has rested. Today, Thursday, was about the jury charge instructions, where they decide these are the charges that they are going to be told they have to determine guilty or not guilty on. And these are the things that's going to say, yes, this is why, no, this is why not. Okay. So, it's just the jury instructions. So we're going to go through all that today. So what was expected, that closing arguments were going to begin on Monday, it looks like they're going to start on Friday, which is tomorrow, because the defense didn't call any witnesses. So, again, the scared Fatima, I don't know what she's doing now, where she's going to go, what's going to happen after all of this. But all of the things that were happening around this case, cultural, I don't know, legal defenses, does it have anything to do with your religious and cultural beliefs? I don't know. I think it has everything to do with the country you're in, the crime you are alleged to have committed, which is exactly what happened here. The parents committed the crimes here in the United States. Thus, United States law must be followed. That's Bev's opinion, and I'm sticking to that. And you better believe we'll be watching how the prosecution ties this all together and what the defense will do to try to untie it. I will update you tomorrow after the closing arguments. And until then, you may step off the witness stand.
I'm Beverly, and I'm on the witness stand.